Hello there, my name's Ms.RedNebula and welcome to another Game Dev Diary. This is for my game Arachnodelic that I'm planning to have finished by August 20th. The second game in my attempt to do a game per month for a little while. And then the next project that I'm going to be working on is an actual game jam, a 1-week game jam that's going to be starting on August 24th. So that'll be really interesting. First thing I did here was I just changed out how the wall looked, so instead of having all of the individual bricks with a thick gray line between them, and then you could see the gray line on the outside, which I just really didn't like, I changed it over so that you had much thinner lines and it was all just pure black and white. Did a couple minor adjustments to the scoring system, but mostly I've been kind of working on some aesthetic stuff, so as you see, there's a little bit of a camera shake that happens now when you impact the different objects in the scene. I also added a major camera shake if you impact any of the obstacles, which at this point, the obstacles, they look like windows right now, but I'm going to change that. They will actually be bombardier beetles, which are these very interesting little bugs that have the ability to mix a couple of chemicals outside of their body that form like a really hot or acidic sort of flash and deters predators, like spiders and, frogs and pretty much anything else that tries to eat them. I changed how the scene itself was put together too, but that's kind of more behind the scenes stuff. The camera now moves just a little bit to follow the spider around, and I added in a pause screen, so pretty much the same thing as I did with the other game here. Has an "Are you sure?" if you try to go back to the main menu or quit from in-game. Kind of put together a quick main menu. I didn't want to get too flashy with this one, so I just used the assets that I already had. I might do some new graphics just for some of the buttons and stuff, but as you see, they already have the ability to hover over them and get an effect off of that. Everything works, but they're not filled in just yet. And at this point, I was feeling a little bit uninspired, because a lot of the reason why I'm doing these games every month is to try and learn a few new things each time, and I didn't really feel like I was learning anything new. Everything that I was working on for this game really was stuff I'd already done in Ratatouille, and so I went looking for some new things to try and play around with. One of those that I found was how to do lights in 2D, so right now I'm kind of mainly just playing around with different color effects and things just to make things look a little bit more interesting. So this kind of thing is a possibility, where the character actually has a little bit of a flashlight or something like that. Like I say, this is just me playing around. Like, I have no idea how I'm going to implement this stuff in, well, I have a lot of ideas for how I want to implement this stuff in the game, but nothing for sure yet. Like I say, I want things to get weirder and more interesting as the game progresses, so this is certainly one of the ways that I could do that, but there's some others as well. Something else that I started learning about was post-processing, which is a way of doing effects on the camera that affect the entire scene or parts of the scene or any number of things. Obviously, it gives it a much more interesting look, and things can get pretty weird when you start messing around with things like screen distortion, grain vignettes, and all sorts. There's also this one called Chromatic Aberration that I was having a lot of fun playing around with. Of course, this isn't exactly what I think that the final game is going to look like. This is just me learning what the possibilities are and seeing what I really want to do with this thing. There's also something called shaders, which is another way to affect the look of the scene, and I'm looking into those, but I haven't really got anything to show for it just yet. Like I say, I spent the better part of the week not really feeling that inspired for this game, and it only really kind of ramped up in the last few days, so I don't have a huge amount of new stuff to show this week, but I have enough that I thought that there were some fun things that I could show what I was working on. Still need to get the spider animating, and that's one thing that I wanted to learn how to do, was use the inbuilt animation tools inside of Unity to animate the spider, and possibly some of the bugs as well. And have some additional art assets that I want to do and start building up the level by level increase in color, increase in strange aberrations that are going on the screen, and really make it so that the further up in levels you go, the weirder things get. So something kind of like this, only more so. Should be interesting. In any case, that's it for this one. Feel free to like or comment, and if you want random updates from my little world of art and gaming, subscribe. If you enjoy what I do and are interested in supporting the channel, check out my Patreon. A big thank you to my current patrons. That's all for now. Bye!